Dustin Poirier reacts to the backlash he has received after UFC 318 for attempting to clinch Max Holloway right after they pointed to the ground with 10 seconds left. Dustin admits that Max was just too fast.
What happened in the final 10 seconds?
What happened was what I thought was going to happen. The point down, and we were going to exchange punches, but he was just too fast. He was too fast, and I was like, I might have threw one or two punches back at him, and I said, we're just going to clinch up. We're going to wrestle a little bit. I'm not doing this. I'm not going out like Gaethje, but I could have landed a shot too. I just didn't. Once I threw one or two, he was throwing off 3 or 4. By the time my 2 were thrown, you know, it's just like, and I just thought it was a lot closer in the moment.
So did you guys see that CEO that got caught having an affair at the Coldplay concert over the weekend? Well, Sean O'Malley went ahead and recreated the video.
Oh, look at these two. All right, come on, you're okay? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy. Oh, look at these two. All right, come on, you're okay? Either they're having an affair or they're just very shy.
The DMs between Khamzat Chimaev and Paulo Costa's girlfriend have been revealed. On the Ariel Helwani show yesterday, Paulo said he texted Tamara. He said, "Your man is not man enough." He sent her a picture of Adesanya and me. He said, "Look, he likes black man. You should look for a better man than him." Here's the screenshot of the DMs. Paulo was close. Khamzat did send the picture of Paulo and Adesanya. He said, "How can you be together with this shit? He like black boys," with laughing crying emojis. Khabib Nurmagomedov touched on a bunch of different topics today. Firstly, he advised Khamzat Chimaev to stand and strike with Dricus Du Plessis. Khabib said, "I think personally, I would advise Khamzat to strike with him. Well, imagine if I were coaching. I'd give different advice. If you put them in straight boxing, Khamzat is better. That's my opinion. There's just this one thing. You can try to force things early, like first round or 2, but if you don't finish him, you'll burn a lot of energy, and later you'll need it in championship rounds. Khamzat hasn't been in the championship rounds. I think never, right? When you're preparing for a fight like that, you have to consider all possible scenarios. You can't go in like I'll just wreck him. You've got to think, what if it goes this way? What if that happens or this comes up? You need to look at all outcomes." Khabib gave his take on whether or not Ilia Topuria can become the next Conor McGregor. He doesn't seem to think it's possible. Khabib continued, "No, he's a good guy. You can tell he's trying to be someone. I don't think so." Khabib had more to say about Conor McGregor, this time commenting on his recent lifestyle and behavior outside the cage. He said, "I don't even know. Honestly, I just don't care. Sometimes I'll see a headline or something, and I'll glance at it. But overall, I really don't care whether he deserves it or not. If you live that kind of life, it doesn't matter who you are. That kind of lifestyle, constantly drinking, it always leads to problems. When you're hitting the clubs and all that, you're bound to get into trouble. I think there are people here who've lived or at least know what the club life is like. There's always something going on there. Misunderstandings, arguments. When you're drunk, vibing to music, stuff just happens. It all depends on what kind of lifestyle you live." Finally, Khabib spoke on Islam Makhachev moving up to welterweight to challenge Jack Della Maddalena for the title. He thinks JDM is a much more difficult matchup than Ilia Topuria. He continued, "I think Maddalena is the toughest opponent in Islam's career. That's my opinion. Not Charles, no one else. None of those other fighters. First of all, Maddalena is twice the size of Ilia. He's twice as big, taller, bigger, stronger legs, bigger frame. His boxing is just as good. And in grappling, he scrambles really well if you've watched him. For me, if I were preparing Islam for either Ilia or Maddalena, I'd be more concerned, and am more concerned about Maddalena." Reinier de Ridder is set to face Robert Whittaker this weekend at UFC Abu Dhabi. RDR says he thinks Nasruddin Imavov will defeat Caio Borralho at UFC Paris. He also says if Khamzat Chimaev pulls out of his middleweight title fight with Dricus Du Plessis, he'd be willing to step in last minute. In an interview with MMA Junkie, he went on to say, "I'm leaning towards Imavov in that one, just because he's so complete, so relaxed in there. He seems to be very much in control, but hopefully it's just a boring fight, and nobody wants to watch, nothing happens. That will be ideal. Hopefully if I can do well, it all depends on how the fight goes. Like a win is not enough. I need to finish him. I need to finish him early, hopefully spectacularly. And as I said, we all hope Imavov and Borralho is boring, goes 5 rounds, nothing happens. That would be perfect. Or maybe Khamzat pulls out last minute and they give me a call. We'll see. I'll be ready to fight again. Or as I said, I might be ready to step in last minute if necessary. So we'll see what happens." Islam Makhachev submits his sparring partner with a twister.
Это как называется? Давид, молодец, ты держался, честно сказать.
Marvin Vettori released a statement on his unanimous decision loss to Brendan Allen. He posted this to his Instagram. He wrote, "Disappointed. Came up short another time. A bit of bad luck maybe. Shattered my nose with the first punch that he threw off that stupid kick I threw. He threw the punch though, and my face was there, so hat off to him. Fought all fight with a broken nose and went after him the whole fight. I had to win this fight. I gave my all. At least I was myself in there again. It was a good close fight. Significant strikes were close. I guess the broken nose made the difference. I hope I made my brother proud. That's all I care. The rest is what it is. Now these are 3 in a row, but I'm not stopping. I know better days are ahead, and I know a few adjustments and I'm back. Thank you ATT for getting me ready. The best team in the world. I got this." Israel Adesanya thinks Dricus Du Plessis will defeat Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 319.
Not bad, but I still think Dricus gets it. I think just late finish, late finish. Khamzat will, I think Khamzat will, if he wins, it's the first 2 rounds, or the first round. But Dricus is just chaotic. Chaotic good, chaotic evil. That's literally what this fight might be, chaotic good versus chaotic evil.
Kamaru Usman explains why the UFC should book Max Holloway versus Arman Tsarukyan next, and the winner faces Poirier for the lightweight title.
Yeah, I think Max Holloway, I like that, Henry, because he's fought Justin Gaethje, and he has fought Charles Oliveira before, and we're seeing Charles now kind of, I think he's dropped a couple of losses now, and to where it's still a little questionable. I like the fight. Obviously, I think Charles is still, right there at the top. But I would like to see him and Arman Tsarukyan. I think that makes a lot, because Arman, we haven't, since that blunder, since whatever he did to kind of screw up that title shot. Arman, it just seems like it's a bad taste and a bad energy following Arman. And I think he needs to get a good one back. I mean, am I lying? I think he needs to get that one back. And the best way to do it is against a guy as hot right now as Max Holloway. So yeah, I think Arman Tsarukyan versus Max Holloway, I think that's a great fight to make for the #1 contender to potentially fight for that lightweight title, because we do know Poirier for some reason is chasing. He wants that BMF for some reason.
Paul Felder thinks it's absolutely absurd that Conor McGregor sent those photos of himself to Azalea Banks last week. He finds it wild that Conor would send something like that to anyone, let alone someone he's never even met, especially someone known for leaking stuff like that. Felder thinks Conor may have done it on purpose, knowing that the photos would eventually get leaked to the public.
What are you thinking? It's bad enough that was even anything he would send anyway, that particular one, right? I mean, that's epic. That's an epic idea.
That's a word to use.
That's one word to use, right? But then to send it to somebody that you've never even talked to, and who is clearly going to use this as fuel to go right back at you and not be afraid. It's almost like he wanted this to happen.
Oh God!
What's going on? What's that house? What's that house like on a Tuesday night? What's that house like on a Tuesday?
I was on a movie set and I walked in and everyone's like, "Have you seen this?" And I was not prepared for what I saw.
No.
And then I saw everyone going on about, God, he's got it all, man. He's got the money. He's got this. He's got a gigantic. And I'm like, oh, hold on a minute. Let's have a look. I'm curious to see how big this thing is. Very average. Very average. I will say that.
I think the thing that sticks out,
pun intended,
is just what's going on in the photo in particular, right? Like, everybody I talk to is like, whatever. Are you?
Now, what did he have? Because I didn't spend too long.
Weight attached.
But how do you? Was it like? I know it was a weight, but was it a device?
We should ask Chael. We should have brought Chael's son in on if we were going to discuss this topic.
Why?
Because he can't stop talking about it.
Brendan Schaub went off on Renato Moicano for turning down the UFC antitrust lawsuit settlement money. Moicano said he could have made around $200,000 but chose not to take it, saying he signed the contract and accepted the terms. Schaub, though, made it clear that he doesn't think that was the smartest move.
Renato Moicano turns down $200K settlement check in a bizarre display of UFC solidarity. Here's the thing, Moicano. That money is getting allocated no matter what, buddy. No matter what. You being a company man and not taking it doesn't give you an inch of good grace with the UFC. This does not matter. There's guys that are more famous than you that are fighting right now that are taking their settlement. You will never make more money than when you fought Islam for the belt. That will never happen to you again. And your wife's pregnant. You have a young kid. You're never going to be champion. And you want to give up $200,000. Just so you know, Moicano, Dana bets with $200,000 every night. Like it ain't. So if you think in his mind, he's going, well, Moicano didn't take the money, let's hook this guy up. You don't know the world, dude. And you're in the most cutthroat business in the world. And you're letting it pass you by. But you think you're being a good company man with a company that could give two about you. It's mind-blowing.
Renato Moicano responded to Brendan. He said it has nothing to do with the UFC. I don't expect the UFC to treat me well because of this. The UFC is a company. A company doesn't like you. They want profit. This is about principles. I knew about the deal. I signed the contract. A contract is nothing more than your word. I'm not going back on my word just to gain a financial benefit. I don't expect anyone to understand that. At UFC 318, Kevin Holland lost to Daniel Rodriguez via unanimous decision. Kevin appeared to accuse D-Rod of greasing after the fight. On X, he wrote that boy was like a soap bar, but good boxing. Sorry for all the parlays we f***ed up. D-Rod responded on the Ariel Helwani show. Here's what he had to say.
Yeah, he said I was like slippery. I was hard to grab, you know, but that's sweat, bro. You know, like
I think he was accused, because sometimes when people say that, they're accusing someone of greasing. Is that what he's implying?
I'm assuming that's what he's trying to say, but you know, there wasn't really too many exchanges other in the third round when he went for the choke. You know, he didn't even have it at the right angle, you know, and I was able to just turn my body, get my shoulder out, and ended up back on top. You know, I think that's what might be what he's referring to.
Okay.
But yeah, like I said, I was just sweating, you know.
And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from John030197. It says, Dana blocking John on Backbone Jones from the White House gig is probably one of the most sensible decisions he's ever made. Jones is a liability. The second one's from Adrian. It's in reference to the drama between Alex Bejeda and his ex-girlfriend. It says Alex just received his black belt in trolling. And the final one's from the real John Wick. It says, oh, Jones is upset? Boo-hoo. Poor duck. Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.